So hi, welcome to this podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
Throwback Wednesday put out on a
Posted
Monday.
on a Monday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We told you we'd be turning it around, throwing it up in the air, spinning it around, seeing what came out after last week. We moved this one because the album we're talking about, I will be in Pennsylvania getting ready to hear it in full for the first time tomorrow when we would normally record these. So we're chatting about Motionless in White's 2014 album, Reincarnate. And they're playing it in full twice this weekend. I would be there both times. I'm very, very excited. And, you know, if you want to hear my thoughts on the show, the day that this comes out, the next day it'll get posted on YouTube and all that fun shit in the morning. Our weekly podcast episode will be the first fucking thing we talk about. So as I said last week, Infamous is my favorite Motionless album with no skips. Reincarnate is my favorite album with one skip, and it is solely personal preference, not because the song I think sucks. I don't think there's necessarily a bad song on the record, but I do think that there's one 7-minute glaring hole in the album that slows down the flow and, you know, causes me to... I've listened to this album a different way hundreds of times because I am not a fan of the vibe of the song and what it does to the flow of the record, in my opinion. So I'll get that opinion out of the way. Wasp.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Not a huge fan of the song, and it's nothing to do with the song itself. Like when I listened to it, like I did in preparation for this, I didn't listen to the album The Shane Way, which is skipping that 7-minute track. I don't hate the song. Like it's a perfectly fine song. And I think as a slower, or not slower, as a shorter track, it wouldn't be as painful, in my opinion. But it's 7 minutes long, and it really is the definition of like a flat line. Doesn't really go much of anywhere. I think it's a cool song, but I'm not a fan of it personally, where it is on the record as well as its length. You know, I feel like sticking it between Dark Passenger and Dead as Fuck is just, that's tough.
Setting it up for failure. It genuinely is just setting it up for failure.
Yeah. So I'm not a fan of where it is, but as I said, I don't mind the song. It's my least favorite on the record, and the one I've honestly spent the least with, because I'm not kidding when I say there is a way I listen to this record, and it is Dark Passenger ends and Dead as Fuck magically just comes on. It's weird.
It's crazy. It's like it was just made and given to you from the heavens. It's awesome.
Yeah. It's weird how that works. But outside of that, I am a huge fan of this record. It might actually, like, with the skip out of the way, it might be my favorite Motionless album. You know, when we rank them at the end of this little series here, it's gonna be like me. It's gonna be like when you tried to rank the Don Broco records. Except I'll be putting myself on the spot, not putting you on the spot.
Yeah. I'll be putting you on the spot. So you go first. Tell me right now. But
yeah, outside of that, I think it's my favorite. You know, Reincarnate, the title track, is like one of the quintessential Motionless songs. I have listened to it hundreds of times. It's one of the songs that I had heard getting into the band before I got into the record. I was going back and looking through my listening stats because I've had Last FM the entire time I've been a fan of this band.
Nerd.
And that was great.
I have a listening stats and all of my charts and graphs.
Fuck you.
Sorry.
And I've listened to that song 200 plus times, which checks out. So you would say I'm a mild fan of the song.
Normal.
Yeah, I'm also a big enjoyer of Everybody Sells Cocaine. It is the goofiest song on the record. Like, as we established last time, they kind of have one song on every album except Creatures that has corny as fuck lyrics.
Corny as fuck. And
you know, sometimes kind of makes sense with the rest of the record. And in the case of Everybody Sells Cocaine, just they were just fucking around.
I think they're just having fun and they're just having a good time, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I genuinely did really fucking like that track.
Yeah, it's a fun song. You know, the instrumental on it, you know, it's got this upbeat feel to it, even though they're singing about cocaine. But it's a weird track on the record because it doesn't fit the rest of like the dark vibe that this record has sonically.
Guys, who wants cocaine?
Yeah.
Guys, who wants to snort some shit right now?
Pretty much. And you know, but I've always really enjoyed that song. Break the Cycle is another fucking ripper. Dead as Fuck. Final Dictum is also some of my favorites, and Carry the Torch as the closer I think is one of the best, you know, Motionless in White album closers out there. I think it really you know, ties the album together nicely, and it's got that very big closer feel to it, and you know, I'm a big fan of this album front to back. You know, Contemptuous with Maria Brink. You know, I think she fits that song very well. Overall, you know, I could sit here and quite literally name every single song on this album except Wasp.
You have, like, actually.
I have named most of them.
All of them, actually, except for I think 2.
Yeah, Unstoppable
2.
and Puppets.
3. And Death March.
And Death March.
You didn't mention Death March, yeah. So 3.
Yes. So I'll just name those now as favorites as well. I'm a big fan of this album. Another fun little thing I realized while going back through my listening stats, like apparently the nerd I am, is when I first found this record, I you know how I would also skip Wasp, I would also jump directly into Reincarnate versus you know, not listening to Death March. But I don't think that's nothing to do with Death March. I think it's a great song and an awesome opener. It really, you know, something that Motionless just does incredibly well are their openers. They really set the tone for their records, even if sometimes the closers kind of just feel like an abrupt end, like the infamous closer, although Fatal ties it together a little bit better if you listen to Deluxe. Their openers always set the tone for the record, and so it was no offense to that. It was solely the fact that I heard Reincarnate and my mind was absolutely positively blown that I just wanted to hear that song first. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of this album. If Wasp wasn't there, it would be no skips. And when I'm in the right mood, Wasp is a perfectly fine song. But overall, I highly enjoy this record, and I'm very excited to hear it 2 times in full this week.
You're very normal about it.
I am very normal.
Picked up from that entire thing. Yeah, I think this is so far my favorite record by them. Unfortunately, I mean, it's not that hard to say because Creatures, I think it's their debut, so I can't be too hard on it. I mean, every band's debut is kind of questionable, whether it's production-wise or, you know, writing-wise, because you're just getting started. I do think it's still a fucking killer, though. I think it's incredible.
Yeah, and what you knew about the band going in is a complete 180 of what was being done on that album.
Yeah, it's whiplash. It's fucking crazy. I thought Infamous was good, but not my favorite.
Yeah.
So this is we're starting to get into actually the Motionless that I know. I think I've listened to this album through before today, maybe like once or twice, because you would have recommended it to me, or just someone else would have recommended it and been like, you need to listen to this album. And I'd be like, chill. And I didn't like it because my brain wasn't there yet. I was like, I just don't, it's like my brain didn't unlock that part yet of enjoying
the DLC hadn't downloaded yet.
It's fucking weird. It's genuinely like I listened to shit that I didn't like 5 years ago, and I'm like, why does this kind of go hard now? It's like my brain wasn't ready. I think this record's incredible. Really like Death March as an opener. That type of shit is what makes me get addicted to albums because, as you said, it sets the tone perfectly, and it's ominous and it's fucking freaky. Love it. Reincarnate, I've known that song since I've probably known you, because I went, oh, what is that song? And I listened to it and I went, whoa.
Yeah.
Holy
fuck. Even as someone, you know, because I remember that because I was super into Motionless when we first kind of met and started the podcast and became really friendly. That, you know, that song is something that even like like non-metal fan, because at the
Yeah.
time you were fucking into Troye Sivan and indie
I
music.
still am.
You still are, but like that was
Troye
what you.
Sivan, Dodie.
Yeah, you were
Orla
listening to
Garland.
like you were listening to like really soft shit, but like
Yeah.
a song like that is not super heavy and very palatable across the board. Hence why it's like their first really big song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anyone can get on board with that because it's, I don't know, and just how it's formatted, just like the flow of it, it's just crazy. I love it so much. It's like just heavy enough to make you go, ooh, wait, I can kind of headbang to this.
It gets heavy towards the end there, but it's also like got enough rock sensibility to it where you can get into it.
What is it called again? It's melodic.
Yeah.
It's melodic.
You've been loving that buzzword this week.
I fucking love melodic. Puppets 3, I think, is great. I do enjoy the song. I really like the Danny Filth feature. And I like how early it is into the record. I fucking love features with Motionless. I think every feature that they've done has been great, even with shit in the future in albums that we haven't even covered yet. I think, I don't know, it makes sense. It's just they're always able to fit whoever into a song, except for this one time. So Unstoppable's great, one of my favorites. I really like the intro. It's like 20 seconds of just like build up and then it fucking crashes down. Big fan of that. Everybody Sells Cocaine, goofy as fuck. Fun though. Really would like to see that one live because it seems like the Pit would be really into that one because it's a lot of like chanting, and I fucking love chanting in songs because then you translate that shit to live and it's like Hail to the King by Avenged Sevenfold. That shit is so fun because it's just everyone screaming like hail, hail, and it's like it's fucking badass. I love that shit.
You know, one thing that aggravates me almost every time I hear that song is it's a song they don't play live often, but right before I got into them the summer of 2019, they did an amphitheater tour where they opened for Alice Cooper. And that was the last time that they had played that song live because it works for that kind of crowd because like they were in the Disguise album cycle, but they played a little bit more rock focused set because it's obviously that kind of tour. Like you could totally go up there and rip your heavy tracks and some of the crowd would be into it because the overlap, but Alice Cooper overall is a rock artist. So they played that song and I've always been so pissed because obviously it came to the amphitheater 30 minutes down the road. So that might be the song I'm most excited to hear live solely because I feel like I was snubbed by not getting into them 2 months earlier.
Yeah, that's fucked. I hate when that happens. When it's like the tour right before you got into a band is the one where they're somehow playing all of your favorite songs. And that shit pisses me off.
And to see them support in an amphitheater when like it's any day now they're going to be headlining amphitheaters or co-headlining. Like, damn man, it keeps me up at night, this shit.
Yeah, it's tough, you know? It's first world problems, honestly.
Very,
first world
much.
problems. Contemptuous is good. I liked it. Unfortunately, I just don't think I like Maria Brink's vocals. I've tried. I have really tried because goddamn. I mean, I've seen them live like what, twice, 3 times, unfortunately. And I can't get behind it. I am also very sad that I don't like her screams because in like theory, I should really like her screams because, you know, it's different. It's scratchy. But it just like feels like she's kind of like half-assing it. I don't know. I just don't like it. I really like that song though. Fun, awesome, great song. Break the Cycle's good. Generation Loss is good. Dark Passenger, let's talk about it. Incredible fucking song. Big fan of that. Wasp, I thought it was fine, you know, because it was my first couple times listening to it, so I don't have that this is the 20th time I've heard this fucking song, skip it. You know, it's 7 minutes long. I could listen to other things. But I didn't mind it. And I liked the hook a lot and I thought it was really catchy. But it is 7 minutes long.
Yeah.
So maybe like don't do that. Guys, please. Dead as Fuck
picks the energy right back up.
Right back up.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That one is incredible. They have a little piece of heaven moment. Shout out Kaylin. I have to like shout her out every single time I mention that song. That's like her shit. Incredible song. Really liked it a lot. And a little freaky. I mean, they're talking about what is it? What is it where you like dead people? Necrophilia. They're talking about necrophilia. So I mean, like, but then it's also like, oh, this is fucking catchy as shit. So yeah, I'll listen to it.
Yeah.
Final Dictum. I'm just gonna fuck it up now. The feature is really good on that one. It kind of like punches you in the face a little bit. I think it's awesome. Carry the Torch is great. And then I did listen to the acoustic version of Cinematic, and I called that song corny as shit in the last review. I really like it
It
as an
is super
acoustic.
cool, stripped down.
I think it's really fucking good as an acoustic song. And I didn't skip it the 2 times that I listened to this record because I was like, I really like it, and I like it stripped down. So shout out Liam Payne. Oh, strip that down. God, that fucking video is crazy. You're sorry, it's so early. You're just eating my train of thought right now.
That video is crazy, Glory.
All that to say, no, the video is like I've watched it like 30 times. Why are they singing it so somberly? I mean, obviously, why? I know why. Yeah. So I liked the album a lot.
Yeah.
I did. I genuinely really fucking like this record. Yeah. I could see. I wish I got into this like 3 years ago because then I could have had time to like sit in it and then like get Motionless in White brain. But I'm hoping by the end of this review cycle, I will be a Motionless in White fan. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, this is kind of, and you mentioned it, where it starts to take a turn, into more of like what the band is known for now, like still very much in the early stages, a little bit more like staying on the heavier side, whereas they've gone a little bit more. There's some rockier songs on some newer stuff. It's not all fucking breakdowns and heavy on the newest record, but yeah, it's you start to see that shift. So yeah, it's a solid record. I'm a big fan of it. Very normal. Could sit here and name every single song as an enjoyment, except Wasp.
But you still did bring it up.
Yes.
So
and I did name it, and I don't hate it. I gave my reasoning.
Skip it every single time.
I gave my reasoning. I don't have to do it again. Go back 20 minutes if you want to hear why. But yeah, those are our thoughts on Motionless in White's 2014 album Reincarnate. Next week we'll be diving into Graveyard Shift. Can't wait. Jonathan Davis is on that album, so I'm a big fan of that one as well.
That's the Rats album. Ooh, yeah. I'm so excited. I fucking love that song.
Yeah. Oh my God. You can follow us on Twitter. It's Good_Noise_Cast. Instagram's Good Noise Podcast. Facebook is Good Noise Pod. TikTok is Good Noise Podcast. YouTube right here is Good Noise Podcast. Audio streaming services Good Noise Podcast. Patreon is patreon.com/Good Noise Podcast. I got a couple other Motionless in White reviews on here. We got Creatures and Infamous right here on the YouTube channel. We'll be chatting about the rest of the albums as the weeks go on. So if you're a Motionless in White fan, subscribe, because we've got another 3 records to chat about after this one. So plenty of Motionless in White content to come. If you want to hear our opinions on the rest of their discography. But yeah, please do subscribe to us on here. It helps us out a ton. But other than that, I've been Shane.
I've been Glory.
And we've been the Good Noise Podcast. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.